What if working hard isn't the reason you're getting ahead? What if the very thing you've been told will make you successful is keeping you trapped? You wake up, you work, you get tired, you pay your bills, maybe you even work overtime. And yet, somehow, at the end of every month, you're still in the exact same place. Same bank balance. Same stress. Same financial problems. And the most frustrating part? You can't understand why. Because you've been doing everything you're supposed to do. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Working hard can make you tired. It can make you disciplined. It can even make you successful. But working hard alone does not guarantee wealth. And there is a hidden reason why some people can work for decades and remain financially stuck, while others seem to move forward faster with less effort. It's not always intelligence. It's not always luck. And it's definitely not because one group simply works harder. The real difference often comes down to one question. What are you actually getting paid for? Imagine two people. Let's call them Alex and Jordan. Both wake up at 7 a.m. Both work 8 hours a day. Both are exhausted by the end of the week. Alex earns $50,000 a year. Jordan earns $500,000. Now here's the strange part. Alex might actually work harder. Alex might work longer hours. Alex might be more physically exhausted. So why is Jordan getting richer? The answer is hidden in something most people never learn about money. There are two completely different ways to make money. The first is selling your time. The second is building something that can create value without requiring every minute of your time. And this difference can quietly determine your entire financial future. Think about it. If you work for 1 hour, you get paid for 1 hour. If you stop working, the income stops. You can become more skilled. You can become more experienced. You can work harder. But eventually, you hit a ceiling. Because there are only 24 hours in a day. This is the first trap. The time for money trap. And almost everyone starts here. You go to school. You get a degree. You find a job. You exchange your time for a paycheck. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem begins when you spend your entire life believing that the only way to earn more is to work more. Because eventually, working harder becomes physically impossible. You can't work 30 hours a day. You can't sell yesterday's time. And you can't save enough energy to create more hours. So what happens? You reach a point where your income can only grow as fast as your time allows. But wealthy people often think about money differently. They ask a different question. How can I make 1 hour of work create value more than once? That's the beginning of leverage. A programmer builds software once, and thousands of people can use it. An author writes a book once, and it can be sold for years. A creator makes one video, and millions of people can watch it while the creator is asleep. A business owner builds a system where other people, technology, and processes create value together. The difference isn't necessarily that these people work less. In many cases, they work incredibly hard. The difference is that their effort can multiply. And that's where the second trap appears. Because even when people start earning more money, they often find a way to stay broke. This is called lifestyle inflation. And it is one of the most dangerous financial patterns because it doesn't feel dangerous at first. Imagine you earn $3,000 a month. You struggle. Then one day, you get a raise. Now you're earning $4,000. You think, finally, now I'll have some breathing room. But then something strange happens. Your apartment gets nicer. Your phone gets upgraded. You eat out more. You subscribe to more services. Your vacations become more expensive. And somehow, you're still broke. Then you get another raise. And the exact same thing happens again. Your income rises. But your expenses rise with it. So your financial life never actually changes. You just become more expensive to maintain. This is why someone earning $100,000 can feel just as financially stressed as someone earning $50,000. Because wealth isn't about how much money enters your life. It's about how much of that money stays, and what it does after it stays. Here's a simple thought experiment. Imagine you suddenly receive an extra $1,000 every month. You have two choices. You can spend it immediately. Or you can use it to build something that might eventually generate another $1,000. Most people choose the first option. Not because they're stupid. Because the brain is wired to value immediate rewards. A new phone feels real today. Financial freedom feels abstract 10 years from now. A nice dinner gives you pleasure tonight. Investing gives you a number on a screen that you may not touch for years. And this leads to one of the most powerful forces controlling your financial life. Your brain prefers certainty now over freedom later. That's why instant gratification is so powerful. You know you should save. But spending feels better. You know you should invest. But buying something gives you an immediate emotional reward. You know you should learn a valuable skill. But scrolling through your phone requires zero effort. And slowly, without realizing it, your future gets traded for tiny moments of comfort. One purchase doesn't make you poor. One lazy afternoon doesn't destroy your future. One bad financial decision doesn't ruin your life. The problem is repetition. Because your life is not created by one big decision. It's created by thousands of tiny decisions that feel insignificant at the time. And there's another hidden problem. It's called financial identity. Most people don't just have financial habits. They have a story about who they are with money. Maybe you grew up hearing, money is hard to make. Rich people are greedy. We're just not good with money. I could never afford that. People like us don't become wealthy. These sentences may sound harmless. But repeated often enough, they become part of your identity. And once something becomes part of your identity, your brain starts protecting it. If you believe you're bad with money, you may unconsciously make decisions that prove you're bad with money. If you believe you'll always struggle, you may stop looking for opportunities that could change your situation. Not because you don't want success, but because your brain prefers a familiar reality over an unfamiliar one. Even when the familiar reality hurts. This is why changing your financial life often requires changing the story you tell yourself about money. But there's one more trap. And this one is so subtle that you might not even realize you're inside it. You're surrounded by people who are doing the same thing you are. Same job. Same spending habits. Same conversations. Same financial beliefs. And because everyone around you is living the same way, it starts to feel normal. If everyone you know spends every paycheck, saving money feels strange. If everyone around you thinks investing is risky, investing feels reckless. If everyone believes the only way to earn more is to work more hours, building leverage sounds unrealistic. Your environment quietly teaches you what you think is possible. And that's why sometimes the biggest obstacle to financial growth isn't your income. It's the financial world you've accepted as normal. But here's where the story changes. Because you don't need to become a millionaire overnight. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. You don't need to start a billion-dollar company. The first step is much simpler. You need to stop asking only, how can I earn more? And start asking, how can I make my money, skills, and time work together? Because these are completely different questions. The first question keeps you focused on your paycheck. The second question makes you think about leverage. Maybe it's learning a skill that the market values more. Maybe it's creating something once that can be sold repeatedly. Maybe it's investing consistently instead of constantly consuming. Maybe it's building a business. Maybe it's simply learning how money actually works. The point isn't to find a magical shortcut. The point is to stop confusing movement with progress. Because you can run on a treadmill for 10 years and still end up exactly where you started. Working harder isn't always the answer. Sometimes the answer is changing the direction of your effort. So the next time you feel exhausted and wonder why you're not getting ahead, ask yourself 3 questions. First, am I only selling my time? Second, is my income growing faster than my lifestyle? And third, am I using today's money to create more opportunities for tomorrow? Your answers may reveal more about your financial future than your current bank balance ever could. Because the uncomfortable truth is this. You may not be poor because you don't work hard enough. You may be stuck because you're working hard inside a system that only rewards you when you're actively working. And once you understand that, you start seeing money differently. You stop chasing bigger paychecks just to spend bigger amounts. You stop measuring success by how busy you are. You stop asking how much you can earn this month. And start asking what you can build that still has value next year. Because the goal isn't to work until you finally deserve freedom. The goal is to use your work to build something that can eventually give you freedom. And maybe that's the real difference between being busy and actually getting ahead. Because one day, you will look back at all the hours you spent working. And the question won't be whether you worked hard enough. The question will be, what did all that hard work build? And if the answer is, nothing that can survive without me, then maybe it's time to stop working harder and start working differently.